Okay, welcome to 11.3, the second lesson for week number 5. Once again, you will have a Delta Math assignment and homework check for this week. No more Go Formative from this point forward. So this is the second lesson for the week. It should be pretty simple, it's pretty straightforward. Big, huge concept though in math. This entire unit will be done again. Obviously, if you're a Math 1 student, you're going to get it again in Math 2. And Math 2 is one of the first things you do when you get to Math 3 next year. So here we go. It says, how do I multiply polynomials? Well, you multiply polynomials by multiplying the coefficients. So you're going to multiply the coefficients, right? So you've seen this in the past where we have like 7 times x, and that is 7x. And if I have 7x times 2x, then you know that this is going to be 7 times 2 is 14, and x times x, same base times same base. I add the exponents, and this would be 14x squared. You've seen this, we did in property of exponents, should be pretty straightforward. What do I do with the exponents when multiplying polynomials? Well, you're going to add the exponents that have the same base. So you're going to add the exponents that have the same base, right? And we know that same base times same base, I add the exponents. So if I have 7xy times 2x, and that's it, I'm going to end up with 14x squared y. I can multiply across, right? I can't add x's and y's, but I can multiply them. And when I have the same base, I add the exponents. Okay? Now, how do I write my final answer? Well, this point forward, you always want to write everything in standard form. And remember that it's highest to lowest. Ugh, can't spell sometimes. Highest to lowest power, constant goes last, right? Highest power to lowest, constant goes last. So let's try a couple examples. And you should know this because we've been distributing and you've kind of seen this before. You just didn't know what it was called. We didn't refer to it, but a lot of this you've done before, okay? And that is 5x squared times 4x to the third. So there really is going to be 5 times 4 times x squared times x to the third. That's what all that is saying. Well, I know that 5 times 4 is 20, and I know that that is x, 2 plus 3, so that's going to be 20x to the fifth. And that'll be the last time I kind of write it out like that. I'm going to go pretty much straightforward. You've seen this already. We did in properties of exponents and whatnot. So I'm going to fly through a little bit of this, and then we're going to get to FOIL here in a second. Negative 3x to the third times 5x. Well, negative 3 times 5 is going to be a negative 15, and x to the 3 times x. 3 plus 1 is 4, so this is x, negative 15 x to the fourth. Okay? Let's keep going. Now we're going to have a monomial this time times a binomial, and you've seen this before because we refer to it as distributing, right? Anytime anything is outside parentheses and everything inside, what is outside gets distributed with everything inside, which means that this 3x is going to multiply against a 2x squared, and this 3x is going to be multiplied with the 4. So when I do that, I've got a 3x times 2x squared, and I'm going to add that to the 3x times 4. So 3 times 2 is 6. X times x squared is x to the third. And then we're going to add it to the 3x times 4. 3 times 4 is 12, and the x comes along. Now you notice that it is in standard form already, highest to lowest power. Okay, so we're already there. Let's do the next one. Example 4. 5w outside the parentheses of 4w to the third minus 2w. There and there, and kind of indicating that I'm going to distribute. So 5w times 4w to the third minus 2w times 5w. And I'm going to write it like that because it's the negative, right? And I want to make sure that that negative gets distributed. So 5 times 4 is 20. W times w third is the w the fourth. Now I only have one negative here, so I do know it's a minus. 2 times 5 is 10. W times w is w squared. All right. Let's keep going. 2x outside of it. This time I've got a monomial and a trinomial. Multiplying the monomial by a trinomial. Once again, it's the same idea. We're just going to distribute. We're going to distribute the 2x with the x squared, the 2x with the 6x, and the 2x with the negative 2. That's what we're going to do, is just distribute. So 2x times x squared, so 2x times x squared plus 2x times 6x, and this is a minus 2 times 2x. Okay? 2x times x squared is 2x to the third. 2x times 6x is 12x squared. And negative 2 times 2 is negative 4 and x. And as simple as that. All right, do the next one. And I'm not going to write a bunch of different things now. I'm just going to say it because you've seen the process, right? So you know how the process goes. So x squared times 4x squared is going to end up being 4x to the fourth. X squared times x squared, same base. Add the exponents. 2 plus 2 is 4. Negative, or x squared times a negative 5x. X squared times a negative 5x becomes a negative 5x to the third. And x squared times 3 simply becomes 3x squared. All right, so that's the beginning part of this. Warm up to get your brain going. So let's go ahead and turn the page, because we're now going to FOIL. See the smiley face? Yeah, FOIL, here we go. Now, FOIL is used when we have a binomial times a binomial, okay? A binomial times a binomial. I'm going to pull this down here because I'm going to draw a little space here in a second. And what that means is this. FOIL is an acronym that we use when we multiply binomial times a binomial, okay? Binomial times a binomial. I keep saying it over and over because I need you to get this into your head. And here's what it stands for. The F stands for first times first. So first term times the first term. O is the outside term times the outside term. I is inside. And you guessed it, L is going to be last. So here's what that idea is, and I'm going to do in the colors that you see. F is first times first. Outside. Outside. Inside. And last. These are referring to the terms. So I'm going to do it over here real quick with the same one, and I want you to see this. Now watch. I'm going to say it. First, outside, inside, last. Now the nice thing about this, and I love doing this, I love FOIL day, and that is I can actually have some fun with this. because I get to make a little smiley face. Yeah. One of the cool things about foil is you can actually make a smiley face and it actually becomes art when you do it. But here we are, we're going to actually do it. Okay. So first times first, x times x, x squared. Outside, x times -5 is a -5x. Inside, 2 times the x, 2x. Last, 2 times the -5 is -10. Now notice how many terms we got. We end up with 4, right? But here's the thing with that. You know that we're going to combine like terms with ones that we can combine with. So the middle two terms, when we do this, end up combining. And when that happens is, I'm going to write it in standard form. So x squared goes first. -5x plus 2x is a -3x. And then the constant goes last. That is my answer. Okay? Now, there's another way to do it, and then this could be easier for some of you, and then I will do it right now for you. And that is, you can double distribute. Okay, what I mean by that is this. I can distribute through x with the x and the x with the -5. And then I can distribute, since it's a double distribute, I can distribute the 2 with the x and the 2 with the -5. And then at the end of the day, it's the same idea, okay? So what that means is if I distribute the x with the x, that becomes x squared. X with the -5 becomes a -5x. The 2 with the x becomes positive 2x. And the 2 with the -5 becomes -10. And once again, I end up with the same answer, okay? Now, I will only show foil from this point forward because I believe it's one of those that once you can get that into your head, it's pretty easy. First, outside, inside, last. First, outside, inside, last. Binomial times a binomial. So here we go. Multiply the polynomial. Multiply the polynomials, simplify, and state your answer in standard form. It's a binomial x plus 4 times a binomial x minus 4. So first, outside, inside, last, x times x, x squared, x times -4, -4x, 4 times x, 4x, 4 times -4, -16. First terms, outside, inside, last. That refers to the terms. Combine like terms. Well, the middle ones are going to do what? Well, they're going to cancel out, right? So these end up canceling out. So x squared minus 16, okay? This has a special name called a difference of squares. And this one is all about our 11.8 notes when we get there. This will be your last set of things right there. Okay, so difference of squares, and that's really what that's called. Okay, we'll do those in our 11.8 notes. All right, keep going. X plus 8 times x plus 3. Binomial times a binomial. I'm going to FOIL. First, outside, inside, last. First, outside, inside, last. X times x. First, outside, x times 3. Inside, 8 times x. Last, 8 times 3. So x squared plus 3x plus 8x plus 24. First, outside, inside, last. Combine the middle terms, write in standard form. X squared plus 11x plus 24. Example 2. Or it's really our third or fourth one. Multiply the polynomials. 3x minus 6 times 2x plus 3. First, outside, inside, last. First, 3x times 2x. 6x squared. Outside, 3x times 3. 9x. Inside, -6x times 2x. or negative 6 times 2x is a negative 12x. Last, right? Yes, negative 6 times 3, negative 18. Write in standard form, 6x squared, 9x minus 12x, negative 3x minus 18. And last but not least, 2x plus 4 times 4x minus 6. First, outside, inside, last. 2x times 4x. You got it. 8x squared. 2x times negative 6, negative 12x. 4 times 4x, 16x. 4 times negative 6, negative 24. Writing in standard form, combine like terms. Negative 12x plus 16x plus 4x minus 24. All right, turn the page. Now, I'm going to teach you a method for when you have bigger than a binomial times a binomial. So like a binomial times a trinomial, trinomial times a trinomial, 4-term polynomial times a 4-term polynomial. Once you get anywhere bigger than a binomial times a binomial, what we call a box method really is the easiest way to do it, okay? Because it keeps it nice and organized for you. Now you can just double distribute or triple distribute or just distribute amongst, and I'm okay with that, okay? So you don't have to use the box method, but it is a nice way to keep yourself organized and clean and precise as you're doing it. So here he is, number 4. I already have the 2x and the 3 in the right spot. So notice that I've taken this 2x plus 3 right here, and I've already put it into the outside of the box, kind of like a Punnett square. And then I've taken this 7x squared minus 5x plus 2, and I have put it right here at the top of the box. Okay, and I've written the box out for you, so you kind of see where it is, right? Now, I know that there were 2 terms in the first binomial, so I have to have 2 rows. And then there was 3 terms in the trinomial, so I have 3 columns, right? So now I'm simply going to multiply. And that's going to be, first thing I'm going to do is multiply the 2x times the 7x squared, and that becomes 14x to the third. 2x minus 5x is negative 10x squared. And then the 2x times the 2 is 4x. Basically, I'm taking that 2x and I'm multiplying by the 7x squared, the minus 5x, and the 2. Now I'm going to do the same with the 3. 3 times 7x squared is 21x squared. 3 times negative 5x is a negative 15x, and 3 times 2 is 6. Now, the easiest thing I'm going to show you is this. When I'm doing this, the terms in the middle always have something to combine with. What I mean by that is the top left and the bottom right term, this 14x to the cubed, and the 6, the constant and the biggest term, have nothing to combine with. So those can simply be written outside. 14x to the third, and 6 is way out here, right? It's my first and last. They don't have anything to combine with. The only terms that have something to combine with are the middle terms. In this case, the 20x squared and the negative 10x squared combine, and the negative 15x and the 4x combine. Now you notice I'm doing all this color-coded so you can see it. So now I'm going to combine like terms. 21x squared minus 10x squared is a positive 11x squared. And a negative 15x plus 4x is a negative 11x. That 6 is positive, so I just simply write plus 6. Okay, let's do another one. I'm going to write the 2w and the negative 6. because that is a binomial, and I'm going to use those as my rows. And then 3w squared minus 4w and 8 right there. I'm going to multiply the 2w with all three terms of the trinomial. That is the 3w squared minus 4w and 8. So this becomes 6w to the third. This becomes negative 8w squared. And this becomes 16w. Now I'm going to multiply the negative 6 with the 3w squared, the minus 4w, and the 8. So negative 6 times 3w squared is a negative 18w squared. Negative 6 times negative 4 is a positive 24w. And negative 6 times 8 is a negative 48. Right? Okay. So combine like terms. My negative 18w squared and my 8 squared are like terms. And my 24w and 16w are like terms. So here we go. My 6w to the third. Can't believe I just wrote that like that. 6w to the third comes out. Combine like terms with the w squareds. Negative 18w squared minus 8w squared is a negative 26w squared. 24w plus 16w is positive 40w. And then negative 48 comes right out. Okay, two more. Now this time we're going to have to actually draw the box ourselves, and that's okay. So I know that I have a binomial, so I know I need 2 rows. So I know I need 2 rows, and then I need a trinomial. So I have a trinomial that's been multiplied, so I need 3 columns. And there they are. And then I'm going to write the 5w, or the 5b, not 5w, 5b outside, the negative 1. And notice that since it's minus 1, the negative goes with the 1. And then up top, I'm going to write the 2b squared, the 5b, and the 8. And notice I didn't add extra boxes like I did at the top when it was easy to draw. I'm going to draw them like this because it's not much easier for me. I don't like that 5, so give me a second. All right, so 5b times 2b squared is 10b to the third. 5b times 5b is 25b squared. And 8 times 5b is 40b. Negative 1 times 2b squared is a negative 2b squared. Negative 1 times 5b is a negative 5b. And negative 1 times 8 is a negative 8. I'm going to combine like terms. So I know the negative 2b and the 25b squared are like terms. I know the negative 5b and the 40b are like terms. 10b to the third comes out. It's my biggest term, nothing to combine with it. In the combined like terms, negative 2b squared and 25b squared should be a plus 23b squared. 40b and a negative 5b becomes a positive 35b, and negative 8 comes out. All right, last one for this lesson. Aren't you excited? This is a trinomial times a trinomial. So I know I need 3 rows. So I'm going to draw this a little bigger than I did last time. Holy cow. Let's just redraw this. Okay. There are my 3 rows, right? And now I need my 3 columns. And there they are. So I'm going to write my 2r squared, my 3r, my 7 there. And then I'm going to write my 4r squared, my 2r, and my -4 there. And away I go. 2r squared times 4r squared is 8r to the 4th. 2r squared times 2r is 4r to the 3rd. And 2r squared and a -4 is a -8r squared. 3r times 4r squared is 12r to the 3rd. 3r times 2r is a 6r squared. And 3r times -4 is a -12r. 7 times 4 is 28r squared. 7 times 2r is 14r. And 7 times -4 is -28. So hopefully at this point you're understanding why I like the box method, and that is it keeps everything nice and clean, especially when you start getting bigger than, this one right here is pretty good size. If we were just distributing this, you would have 9 terms, okay? It kind of gets a little hectic. So I am looking to combine like terms. Now remember, middle terms have something to combine with. So I'm looking for my same powers. I have that one. I have this one, all the r squareds. And then I have the r's right there. Once again, our first term and our last term has nothing to combine with. And as we do this, we are going to have, and now we can combine like terms, right? Now we can combine like terms. Sorry, I was looking at the colors, trying to pick one I had used. So I know that my r to the 4th term comes out first. My r to the 3rds, 12r to the 3rd plus 4r to the 3rd is 16r to the 3rd. Combining the r squareds, 28 and 6 is 34. Both of those are positive. Minus 8. Well, minus 8 becomes 26 r squared. 14 minus 12 is 2. And -28. All right. Well, hopefully you enjoyed FOIL day. Binomial times a binomial. FOIL, first, outside, inside, last. Other than that, this completes week number 5. I hope you have a great week. Homework assignments, make sure you finish both of them. The worksheets that we have along with this, send me pictures of them, right? In order to get credit, I must see pictures of the notes and the worksheets. And then also you will have Delta Math this week, both an assignment and a homework check. No more Go Formative. All right. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.